Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Midweek Marketing Mix. My word, this is all a little bit strange, I've got to say this week. I'm joined by some pretty cool people. Let's start with that. Let's start with the really simple stuff, which is not going to confuse me too much. So we've got Andrew, and I always call him Andrew because I can never pronounce his entire name, joining us. We've got Kevin Shively joining us, and we've got Olga and Elizabeth. Olga and Elizabeth, now hang on, you guys are in Russia, right?
Yep.
Oh, this is going to be a fun show. I love it already. Okay, so we've got everybody joining us from all over the place. Now, let me just make this clear, some sort of some housekeeping points, really. Obviously, we stream this show live through Google+. So if any of you are watching from Google+, firstly, it's a hello from here. Secondly, what I want to do is I just want to share with you how you can comment on the page, because one of the most important things is if you've got questions or comments, please put them to us. So I'm just going to show you how you can do that. What you may see on Google+ is these little buttons up here. So you'll see a little square with an arrow. Click that, and the video will be taken outside of Google+, and you can comment on the event page. So please do click that. If you're watching this outside, maybe you're watching this in social media today as their website, do comment through Twitter. Use the hashtag, which is #MarketingMix, and we will bring that into the show. And lastly, if you're watching this as a recording, you're going to see a terrible time delay, which I'm going to sort out in a minute. But if you're watching this recorded, again, I'm just going to go back to these buttons here again. This little button here saying be part of the conversation. If you click on that, throughout this entire show, I'm referencing articles and links which will be stored in that be part of the conversation. It won't mean you join us, but it means that you will come in and you'll see every link that we're talking about. And there's some really useful stuff out there. Okay, while I sort out this horrible time delay that we've got coming on, which seems to happen with my camera just recently, so I do apologize for that. Let me first of all say, look, one of the things we're going to talk about in an immense amount of detail, which is the latest bit of digital news out there, which has been going crazy this last week, is that of Meerkat. If you guys haven't heard of Meerkat, it means you must not be on Twitter. I must just say it like that. Equally, you can't be on many social media spectrums because basically it's everywhere. So look, Andrew, over to you. You've got 30 seconds to explain what Meerkat is. Go for it. What's it all about?
I think 6 words. One-to-many live video streaming, and that's it. It's what I love about the app is how simple it is. You just download it. It's iOS only for now. They're working on Android app. At least I assume they're working on an Android app if they want to succeed in business. But you open it, you click stream, and you're on. You're on public. It connects to your Twitter, so it basically puts out a tweet for you. But it's a great way to connect with your audience. We're actually live right now on Meerkat. We have two viewers now. It's a little slow this morning. There's a lot of action going on, but you guys can say hello. You're on screen with the Meerkat guys. Oh, I just lost one. Oh, man.
Oh, no, we must be.
Seeing the live in and out is tough. I mean, with the Hangout on air, you're a little separated from it, so you kind of go on with the show. But when someone drops out, it's very sad.
Yeah, I feel bad already. Well, look, I tell you what. Let's just bring it. So you gave it 6 words, right? What were those 6 words again?
One-to-many live video streaming.
One-to-many live to video streaming. Okay, I'm gonna bring in Nazim's one. Hi, Nazim, by the way. Meerkat. The hottest thing since sliced bread. There's another 6 for you. Nice one, Nazim. Well done. There we are. So that's what everyone's talking about, right? It's a pretty big, important thing on here. So pretty big. Let's look at this uptake, right? We now understand it's a live streaming app through Twitter. Everyone is there talking about it. Nazim's hit the nail on the head. So, Kevin, Simply Measured. You guys analyze all the data everywhere, and you've put in a pretty big viral post recently about this, which is saying that 91,000 tweets measured. Was that what it was?
It was, yeah, 91,000 Meerkat videos, and that was about a week ago now, so that number is probably doubled. We've seen Meerkat usage actually grow since South by Southwest, which was surprising to us.
Cool. Let's look at these trends then. So what did you find? I mean, what was the data telling you about Meerkat? Because it only launched it actually launched in February, right?
I think it was late February. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it was right at the end of February, and then they started promoting it a little bit on March 4th.
Okay, so March 4th. So I don't know. We didn't actually ask this in the green room, partly because Andrew was deciding to stream everything live in the green room, which meant that there's nothing private anymore. I feel we can't discuss much. So, Kevin, have you got any of the charts with you that you can share about this growth of Meerkat using Twitter? You got anything there for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull some up here.
And while you're doing that, you can say hi to Bob Strazzle. There we are. Hi, Bob. You're back in. Good to see you, mate. Who else we got? Elaine Smith. Hello again. Hello. So you're coming in. And Dave Pipe. Yes. Where are you? Afternoon from Sussex. Dave, you're not far from me. I'm just up in Surrey. So hello, mate. We should meet up sometime. Who else we got? Nancy. Hi, Nancy. So yes, I think you are on the right screen. So I'm glad you've joined us, Nancy. So that's great to see you. So yeah, cool. So what have we got then? What have we got?
So what we're looking at right here is hourly Twitter mentions of the Meerkat hashtag. Every time you post, it's automatically posted to Twitter. And we've seen a huge uptick in this over the last week. You can see where it started to pick up with South by Southwest, but now we're seeing peaks of 5,300 Meerkats per hour, which is pretty insane. This is one of the charts from that blog post that you mentioned. Right during South by Southwest, Meerkat tweets from Austin really started to take hold, and that shot it off. They did a killer job. Ben, the CEO and founder of Meerkat, launching right before South by. As we all know, it's a huge tech hub. It's a great place to get your social or technology startup noticed. That's how Twitter became a big thing in 2007. So really smart play putting it out when they did, I think. We're seeing a lot of really cool locations for this, some of the big tech hubs of the world. So Austin and San Francisco, London, New York. But then we've also noticed some interesting places too that might not be in this chart, but Uganda has seen a lot of Meerkat activity, and it's just been pretty interesting watching that.
So I was watching someone from Mexico yesterday.
Really?
And sorry on that, Kevin. You said Uganda has had an awful lot as well, right?
Yeah. Which I haven't seen any actual Meerkat streams from Uganda, but pretty substantial volume coming from there.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Now, let's just define this. I think it's very, very important to define the point about a mention of Meerkat, because you alluded to it then, which is a Meerkat mention. It's not necessarily the stream. And incidentally, I'm just going to bring in Dennis Brown here. Afternoon, half paying attention while trying to find the Meerkat stream at the same time. I don't know, Andrew, do you want to just post the link in here and I can pull it in for Dennis, or put it on the event page for him, and then you can actually look at both of us at the same time. There you go. So it's not just the stream of video; it is every mention to anybody working with or watching the show, right?
Correct. Yeah, we were also taking a look at actual views within the Meerkat app, and during South by Southwest, those were hitting upwards of 60,000 views per day. And I think Jimmy Fallon tweeted out a Meerkat of his monologue the other day. That got some crazy engagement as well. So a lot of people are really tuning in and watching those videos.
Okay. So,
and since I had to relaunch my stream, my Meerkat's not at the same link, so I'll actually send you the updated link in just a second, the correct one. But sorry, continue.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's perfect, actually, because so Dennis, well, actually, Andrew, could you put it into the event page? I've got it here on the chat, but if you could put it in the event page for Dennis, that would be great, and anybody else actually there. So while we're doing, if you've just joined us, we are streaming live through Google Hangouts, which is streaming live through social media today, and we're also streaming live through Meerkat on Andrew's Meerkat event. So let's see how it goes. You guys give us the feedback. Let us know what you think about it. So while you're doing that, Andrew, I don't want to, us men, we can only do one thing at once, and I struggle at the best of times even doing that. In fact, Kevin, have you done anything yet with the Meerkat stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. We had a webinar the other day. We did kind of a similar thing to what Andrew's doing, where we did a behind-the-scenes footage of Meerkat and a lot of stuff around the office. And our team was down at South by Southwest while this all was going on, and so they were meerkatting a lot of the conference sessions and parties and just on 6th Street as they were wandering around. So I think there's a lot of fun uses for it. It's still kind of getting shaken out a little bit to figure out what people will use it for professionally.
I think it's really it's interesting to see. You kind of have to throw out the idea of what you were going to watch. You can't expect to see exactly what you want to see. I was watching a guy for 20 minutes shave a dog. He's a veterinarian. I mean, it was purposeful. It wasn't just like, I'm going to shave a dog for Meerkat.
I can't believe you're actually even admitting to the fact that you
but he was sitting there talking about the dogs, talking about the families. It was pretty neat.
Yep. But Andrew, you've got 330,000 Google Plus people in circles. I reckon you've just lost about 300,000 of them with that admission. 20 minutes.
He was really interesting. I was listening to him talk, and he was just telling us about his job, about what he was doing, and I think it's fantastic. It allows people to really Hangout on Airs are that first step forward, but then being able to stream with your audience, I mean, it's even more real. It's even more authentic. You can't bullshit your way through a live stream. People will call you out. I actually called a few people out because they were driving with their Meerkats on, sitting trying to balance it behind their wheel. Some people actually sitting with their phone, holding it in front of them, trying to talk to the phone and flipping it around, showing us traffic, and they're like, well, that's distracted driving. Don't do it. You don't text while you drive. You shouldn't even be talking on your phone while you drive, honestly. Just wait till you get home. Don't stroke your ego for a live stream. Just get home first. Or get to your office.
Let's look at something. We can all hypothesize about this thing and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So let's just get back to absolute fact. Andrew, you've used it a couple of times. I think you enjoyed what you've done so far. What have you found so far are the positives of Meerkat, and what are you seeing as the application for us as users and us as businesses? What are you thinking?
I think, if anything, we don't have to go crazy about Meerkat just yet. I mean, they don't have the Android app that cuts out about 75% of iPhone or of phone users, smartphone users. But you should be looking at the idea of live streaming in general. There's Hang With, there's other apps that are very pissed that Meerkat is getting a lot of attention now, but they are just as good. There's a lot of apps out there that are doing this. It's just about connecting to your audience. I said before, be authentic, be real. It's about finding those single wins that can then exponentially grow. You don't just try to go viral immediately. You have to connect to people one by one and hope that grows.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from a business perspective, one of the things that I've already read and I think it's quite a good idea. I mean, I love the live format. I think the live format works. I think it allows interaction. I think any brand out there, any company out there needs to look at this as a viable alternative, a viable platform for doing this stuff. And you know what? On the fly. Hangouts, look, I love Hangouts, the format of them, the power of them, because obviously they are recorded. You have the video SEO element, element of them. They are a very powerful live and recorded video streaming aspect. What Meerkat perhaps offers you is an on-the-fly, immediate access to a live audience. If you've got a very engaged, interactive Twitter audience, then all of a sudden this opens it up, because literally within a couple of taps on your mobile phone, anywhere you are, you can engage in a very personal way. It suits what Twitter seems to have been doing over the last 6 months with all of their platform. It's about keeping it within Twitter, which actually I'll come on to in a minute, because there is a negative there about what Twitter have done. But for me, one of the business applications that I've already seen as being sort of working quite well is if you are a company and you're offering tips, like social media companies, for example, use Meerkat as that option. Do very quick, every single week, you're going to have a Meerkat at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, and you're going to say, this is our Monday tip, our Monday Meerkat tip. And you've got a 5-minute video every single Monday. People don't need to veer off of Twitter to go and watch it. It's there in their live stream. So there's lots of applications, and I think there's going to be some very, very clever people out there doing some very clever things. So I'm excited. But look, I think, in all of the articles which are on the showcase, and I'm actually just about to put them live, I've forgotten to do so, in the showcase app, there's always some negatives. Now, Andrew, I've already seen an awful lot, as much as there's this massive wave of enthusiasm, which we've seen from your stuff there, Kevin, there's also some possible negatives out there. What have you seen so far?
I want to mention something that you said it very well, in that if you have a very engaged Twitter stream already, or engaged Twitter audience, this is Meerkat something you're not going to build that million-person audience, just by jumping on Meerkat. Like Google Plus early adopters, we did all right. I mean, it's being on a platform early does have its benefits, but the leaderboard, I mean, that's pretty set already. These guys are live streaming, 15 hours a day. It's really tough to catch up to some of these guys. So without any discovery, you need an active audience. You can't jump on and expect people to just start watching. You're going to be talking to yourself for a little while, and that's something to note with a lot of these, the Meerkat hashtags that are jumping up, and we can see the data. But many, if anything, most of those Meerkat streams are just the single person talking to themselves. So or just going test. Oh cool, this is Meerkat, it's neat. So we still have to wait and see kind of what happens, like you said, how it evolves. But and I'm sorry, what was your question one more time?
Okay, well, I'll rephrase the question in a second. Just for the likes of, hey, Michael, by the way, nice to see you, mate. Andrew has actually posted the Meerkat stream on here, so if you click on that link, you'll be able to see dual live events going on, and that's the link. So Andrew, thanks for sharing that in the stream. That's great. So hopefully that will show. And Michael, good to see you, mate. It's been a long time. So my question was, look, there's an awful lot of hype. There's an awful lot. I mean, I am incredibly positive about this. I think it's an incredible platform. And Kevin, I want to ask you a question a little bit about: are we going to see a plateau, in the data? If you've got any more data that we've sort of post the South by Southwest. But my question, really, Andrew, is what are the negatives of doing something like this?
It's people believing that they're important. I mean, it's an ego boost. It's people that down there, they think that they have to be streaming 24/7, that their voice is so important that it has to be heard on their drive from one office to the next. There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of I keep repeating this word, but it's a little bit of ego stroking, and that's something that hopefully we can combat. I was doing a lot of testing, and some of it was literally just kind of leaving it open, seeing kind of what happened to the stream. Left it on my cats for a little while. I was playing with them, but we have to wait and see. I mean, it's live streaming is interesting, but as far as this platform, we don't know yet.
Okay, I mean, to bring up a couple of things because I think now where are we, Bob? You bring up a very important thing, which in fact one of the articles I've put in the showcase is of an example of an event which just happened over in San Francisco, and I can't remember what it is. It's an entrepreneur circle, people pitching new business ideas, and they instantly banned Meerkat. So
yeah, that was actually an SEC thing, because upstarts, they can't actually try to get money from. I'm going to uber simplify it. They can't ask poor people for money. Basically, they don't want startups begging poor people for money, being like, this is the next big thing, and so they have to only go to the rich investors, which it has to remain private. It's Y Combinator. That's the name of it. Yes. And I hate saying rich and poor, but that's kind of what it is. Big investors versus little investors, and only big investors are allowed to be asked for these little tech startups. It's an SEC thing that basically keeps the little guy from getting screwed, but it seems weird. But yeah, they basically wanted to keep the privacy, so they put it, cut it out. But people are still live tweeting. People still tell stories. One person tells another guy who tells another guy. It's in the internet. So that's kind of our problem now. How do we stop how do we keep privacy? How do we keep someone from sitting in a...
Oh, I think you've gone there, Andrew. Did you cut out? Yeah. You're back again. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to raise this question with Bob again, because I think it's a very important point. You mentioned there, Andrew, about the live tweeting thing, and I think you're absolutely right. people are live tweeting from events and paid events, and I think there's a lot of issue out there at the moment with some of these events where they're asking people to come to these events and pay a lot of money to listen to speakers speak. So I'm interested. I just tweeted a friend of mine who's over at Social Media Examiner World over in San Diego, San Francisco, and I'm asking her whether or not they are banning Meerkat, because I'm very interested. People have paid a lot of money to go and see these people, so are they going to encourage or are they going to discourage people? I don't know. Privacy, streaming, not really sure. But one of the big things I've heard is this issue about data. So a lot of these people out there at the moment with this Meerkat issue are saying that it's absolutely swallowing their data, and there is a Mashable link in the showcase. And incidentally, now who was it? I'm sorry, it was Nancy. I think it was Nancy. The reason why you can't necessarily comment and watch at the same time is because we use the showcase app. So when I'm talking about links, they are actually in the right-hand side, so you can access more information. Click the little square with a diagonal arrow in it above my head, probably either here or here, and that will take the video out, and you'll be able to comment on the event stream. But it's this issue of data, because if you're watching, or if you're actually doing a Meerkat yourself, you are using an awful lot of data. And I got some stats out of the article which I shared, which is the average user in America currently uses 522 megabytes of data a month. Let's put this out. Andrew, I don't know if you've read this, but do you know how much streaming from Meerkat takes up from your data?
I wouldn't be able to tell you any kind of scientific number or measurement, but a lot.
Have a guess. I'm coming to you, Kevin, and Olga, and Elizabeth.
They sit there for 5 minutes and they start getting text messages. You're 80%, you're 90%, you're done. And that's how it goes.
Megabytes a minute.
Yeah, it's very fast. I would recommend always using Wi-Fi if possible, unless you're at an event, in which case it's a different animal altogether. You know, if you're at Social Media Marketing World today, I guess today, does it start today? Yeah, if you can afford a trip to Social Media Marketing World, you can afford an unlimited cell plan. Sorry, but that's kind of the honest truth. Don't use the shared Wi-Fi. The shared Wi-Fi is there as a tool for people to use to get their work done, to continue publishing, to continue doing the things they have to. But if every other person at Social Media Marketing World is meerkatting off the same Wi-Fi that everyone else has to use, it's going to explode. And it's not going to go well for anyone. So that's something to kind of.
Let me put the data, Andrew, just so you get the data. So look, the average user streams 522 megabytes of data a month at the moment. If you're streaming from Meerkat, you're using 4 megabytes of data a minute, which is 240 megabytes an hour. So you're basically streaming more than half, no, just less than half of the monthly average user's data in an hour streaming from Meerkat, right? If you are watching a stream, it's 2.3 megabytes of data a minute. So sort of what's that, 150 megabytes an hour if you're just watching Meerkat. So look, definitely use Wi-Fi. That's the main thing.
Yeah. You know, again, if you have unlimited, if you're grandfathered into AT&T's unlimited plan, go ahead and stick it to them. Keep using your cell plan. That's fine with me. So that's. I think everything should be unlimited at this point, but it is what it is. If everyone were on limited cell data, all of our cell plans would be slow, right? That's the idea, I guess. So, yeah, I like it so far though. And we have 10 people watching now. We got some comments in here. Except one downside of Meerkat, so you know you can see the comments in here, but then they get cut off. But since I'm running an HOA and a Meerkat, if I opened up the Google event page and my entire computer started getting hot, so I'm doing a little too much at the moment, which is kind of sad. If only I had my phone on, my battery's dead. I have another phone. I have too much tech, but I could open Twitter. But I'll be sure to join them afterwards and be sure to double ask with that question. Yeah, what's going on in there?
I think it'll be interesting. Taking some of your data there, Kevin, what you mentioned about the South by AT&T surveyed the use of data, and it nearly doubled. The amount of data used in 2015 was double the amount of data that they used in 2014, which they attribute purely to Meerkat. So, as Nazim said, Wi-Fi is the way to go. Okay, so the problem with this is the fact that it's so cutting edge. I think we could absolutely chat this into the ground, because I think it's interesting. A lot of people are saying this could be, a very interesting area for Twitter. So, it's something I think we could spend all day talking about. Let's not. Although there's one thing I did want to say. Kevin, I don't know if you're carrying on the analysis with Simply Measured for that Meerkat stuff, and if you are, have you seen any sort of stabilization yet or not?
I think it's starting to level out. We still haven't seen it plateau by any means, but that's going to be dependent on, I think, some of the bigger users and how frequently they continue to use it. Is Jimmy Fallon going to keep publishing, that kind of stuff? Also, Twitter just bought Periscope, and so it depends, what they're going to do with their own internal video streaming service. They could pretty easily combat that. So we'll see what happens.
I keep saying there's two big options that could happen, actually. I think Google should just unlock streaming on Hangouts on Air, on their Hangout app. Done. Or purchase someone like Hangwith and just mash them together. The name's already there, Hangout, Hangwith. And they would just destroy, if they could get it out before Periscope, before Meerkat gets an Android app. I mean, that's kind of, it's a race right now. That's what I'm thinking. But I did want to really quick just shout out to at the Cody Vision. They're doing a cross-country trip on Meerkat. It's actually being sponsored by MiFi. They got a nice little Wi-Fi box, I guess, that'll follow them around the country, and they're going all the way from California to PA over the next 2 weeks, I think. And yeah, they're going to be meerkatting their whole journey, so it's pretty cool. I'll add a link to their streams at the end of the event.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's great. Just to pick up on your point there, Kevin, for a second. I mean, how much do you know about this Periscope stuff? Can you explain it in simple terms to people who are watching? Because I've had a little read of it, and it's I think it's quite important, actually.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know a ton about it yet, and it's going to be interesting to see what Twitter does with it. I think that, and I have to be careful how I talk about it. We're partners with Twitter, so it's a little bit of a gray area what I should talk about there. But I think they have a huge opportunity.
You want to nod your head as if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Here we go. Then you're not wrong. As far as I'm aware, Periscope is a company that literally days before Meerkat went crazy, they purchased Periscope, which is essentially a live streaming app for between 50 and 100 million. And I think they're probably a little bit disappointed. Let's see, you're nodding, right? So well, I must be somewhere right. And from what I understand as well is, I think, now get this, TechCrunch, right? TechCrunch being TechCrunch are not the most positive people at times, especially about Google Hangouts. And so the quote was, the live streaming app that Twitter should have bought is what they put about Meerkat. So Periscope, I think you're right, it's going to be interesting because they've limited what Meerkat can do, haven't they? So anyway, we'll have to see. I want to bring in Dennis's point here just for a second, because this is a point for you, Andrew. Interesting or not to note that the HOA stream comes through about 30 seconds after the Meerkat one.
Interesting. More, it's more live. I mean, that's the concept.
Oh, but hang on.
I'd assume, the Hangout's got to go through Google, through YouTube, through, there's a lot of pipes.
You're right, and that's what Marcus just said. Yes, it's due to the fact that YouTube streams the event, but also so that Google Plus can monitor and kill the stream. Should it have anything illegal in it? Okay. Right. And I think it's that last little bit, which is the important bit from Michael there, about the illegality of it, because that's something which, obviously, Bob was mentioning. I think it's also a similar issue to Google Glass and what is it in the public-private domain. So, yeah, Bob, I don't know the answer to that. I've certainly, there's a lot of articles in that in the Showcase app for you to have a look through. So let's sort of bring that in. Okay, right. We're going to talk a little bit of data in a minute, because I want to come back to Kevin about the latest stuff with Instagram and some of the stuff that he's going to mention on there. But Olga and Elizabeth, let's talk about some new news now. I mean, Christ, we just spent 30 minutes talking about meerkats, which is, I don't know if that's sad or depressing.
That was interesting news.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
We haven't actually yet tried it, and we'll certainly will. But, well, I'm actually was concerned about the some nasty stuff that, well, people can come across accidentally. So some people must be streaming something that's not really appropriate. So that was actually my question to Andrew. So what do you think about that?
The beauty of that is like I was saying, there is no discovery yet. You know, there's a leaderboard, but for now on the leaderboard, there's no one that's doing anything lewd, or there's no porn, no. I'm sure there's people doing stuff on here on their streams, but it's based on who your audience is. So if you're following a bunch of people who would do something like that in front of a Meerkat camera, then yes, you are very likely to come across that in your Twitter stream. But if you're following people, if you have a controlled Twitter following, you're not just following everyone in the world, you'll be fine. I feel happy clicking every Meerkat link. If you know the person, why not connect to them live stream? That's really it. And it leads into stop doing auto follow back on Twitter, because then you're going to see every single Meerkat post. You shouldn't be following 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't believe in you're not following anyone at that point. If you follow everyone, you're following no one. So try to hone down your Twitter following. Maybe make a list of Meerkatters that you prefer, so that you can always go to that list and you know that those streams are safe for you. If that is a concern, because some people you can do like a public search for Meerkat Live, and you might come across something that's strange. So definitely try to use your own connections as the gatekeepers, kind of.
I think that's great advice. Great advice. I would definitely set up a list of Meerkatters, although you might you might come up against people who are shaving dogs, which is something I'm not sure if I'd like to see that.
It was strange. It was definitely. That's why I had to mention it, because it was so. I opened it. I'm like, wait, what? And I kept watching. He was just chatting. It's you connect with people. I mean, it's neat.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on, because we could spend hours on it. Just as a recap, guys, you're watching the Midweek Marketing Mix, and this show is all about the best guests bringing you the latest digital news, and that's what we're here for. So please do pass any comments. If you're in Google+, do feel free to use a little box up there with the arrow in it to take the event out of this and pop all your comments into the event stream. Equally, use the hashtag Marketing Mix, and again, be part of the conversation if you're watching the recording to get all the access to all of the posts that we're talking about today, because there's an awful lot of news in here. Look, let's go, Olga and Elizabeth. Obviously, you're here to talk about SEMrush, because I really want to talk a little bit more about your platform. But there's been some other sort of search stuff going on recently about Facebook search. They've made a big purchase, right?
Yeah, TheFind.
What's that about?
You're asking about the recent acquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, they acquired the platform which helps shoppers, the online shoppers, find the goods within their geographic area. And what they're planning, obviously they're planning to increase to provide better advertising experience and improve their ads. Facebook is aiming at the two biggest market money makers. So that would be search and e-commerce. And they back in 2004 or something, they added they implemented the buy button, and now I believe that they will be using this TheFind technology to just improve that and probably try to sell it within their own platform. So I believe that let's see how it goes, but definitely they aim at to provide better experience with their ads. So that's the thing.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because that's now, if I'm correct. I mean, originally you had Google with the Merchant Center, so they can buy directly from Google Search, which is obviously interesting. You've now, again, talking about Twitter for a second, you had them with their Twitter cards and giving people the option to buy from the Twitter stream directly. And now we've got the whole point of Facebook buying this thing called TheFind. I'm trying to understand. I mean, I had a little look at, I think the same article you did. and they were going for 9 years, and they're now effectively Facebook has bought them, so I think they're closing down in about in a few weeks' time.
They will be offline, and the audience that they had was something like 15 million people that were using the app.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Sorry. Olga, I'm really sorry. I've just had this thing pop up in my stream, which is I just vomited over my keyboard, and that's not something that I'm I'm used to seeing in my on my comment tracker every day. So sorry about that, Michael. Thanks, mate. Did you mention that book of faces in the live Google Hangout? Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. We're talking about Facebook, Michael. I know you're very pro Google Plus. We are talking about the book of faces. I'm sorry you vomited. But anyway, I mean, it's do you know what? If I'm correct on this, it looks as if every platform that we've got are trying to basically retain the users within the platforms rather than diverting them sort of elsewhere. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any information or thoughts on that, or Andrew or Kevin, if it's just, are these social networks and search platforms just keeping people in their own backyard? Do you agree with that?
I would actually love to jump in for this. I was reading about the Facebook, right? They want to take all the news stories and just have them inside Facebook. Why leave Facebook? It takes 3 seconds to click on a news link, so let's make it take 1 second by just not leaving it all. And I think that's terrible. It's the walled garden mentality. It's going back to AOL days. I don't understand how they can't see that. I mean, it's Google tried to be a layer, and I think that's why I always love Google Plus. It's a layer. It's not meant to replace the internet. It's meant to augment the internet. It's meant to get you out there, get you clicking on things, get you, engaging with the other people that are, interested in the content you're interested in. You keep your little castle, and you keep your content within your castle. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I think it makes me a little bit nervous talking about having news content live specifically within a social network, because then you're reliant on the algorithms of that network to control what you're seeing, which news is being delivered to you. It's putting a lot of control in one specific place, which isn't how we need our news. I think in general you need a lot of different sources so you can disseminate it a little bit and figure out what the most accurate story is. That's one of the reasons I really love Twitter. It is definitely a content discovery channel and a journalism-focused platform, but in a lot of ways, not all the time. But there's no content that's just housed there. You have to go somewhere else, whether it's clicking through a link or finding something else to get a full story.
Okay, let me just pick up on that for a second there, Kevin, because I think you've just raised a good point. Because so Facebook is essentially becoming quite insular in the sense of what you just mentioned there, Olga, is that so they've purchased a company, and Aline, I noticed you asked which company. It's called TheFind, F-I-N-D. 500 million products across 500,000 stores, right? And it's all about connecting the right people to the right products. So it's very contextualized e-commerce. And what we're saying is that Facebook is becoming insular. It's making people use the platform rather than going elsewhere. And what I think you've mentioned, Andrew, and with Google Plus, and you've mentioned, Kevin, with Twitter, is that you're saying that Google and Twitter are still essentially mechanisms by which to divert people elsewhere rather than keeping them within the glass wall, the brick walls. Am I reading that right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
You also have a better chance of seeing something from outside of your, to use a Google term, circles. With Facebook, you have, it's actually bad for society. They've put out scientific studies that show that when you congregate with people of a like mind, you actually become more extreme toward that direction. So, just to use government terms, if lefts hang out with lefts, they get more left. If rights hang out with rights, they get more right. And it's actually causing more dissension when we actually do click out to that link to, Washington Post article about government. Then you have these two competing armies coming in and attacking each other and then retreating back to their home base on Facebook. They share links and they go, well, all of my friends say this and this and this. Well, that's anecdotal. That's not how the world works. I just don't like the concept of keeping it closed like that, and that's. It's trouble.
Yeah, my background is actually in print journalism in pre-Twitter and Facebook for Business days, and I think it's really interesting. One of the great aspects of social media and the internet in general is that you do get that broad spectrum of information and news coming into your feed, and to limit that. There are definitely some downsides to that. I think you know obviously we get fake news stories and a lot of bad information on a consistent basis. But to limit that is to take away some of the amazing power of social media.
But if we don't limit it, it becomes a fire hose of insanity, like Twitter, for example, where everyone follows everyone and everyone posts every 5 minutes, and it actually makes it harder on ourselves that we post every 5 minutes because everyone else is posting every 5 minutes.
Okay, and
it's a way of limiting it without limiting the breadth of the people in the conversation, or I don't know. It's EdgeRank doesn't really work the way it should, but we do need it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll
that's the important part is that you know in different ways each of the networks is working on a way to make our information intake more efficient.
Yeah, I think that's like a story itself. You have to go to multiple sources, multiple places to get the full story. Just like you wouldn't go to just CNBC. You'd go to CNBC. You'd go see what Fox said. You go see what and you put the stories together and see what's missing, what's common.
Okay, well let me pick up on a point. And there's some really good questions actually in the stream there. Bob, you've got some really good points here. This makes a lot of sense because of what Facebook is doing with Messenger and mobile payments, because that's how you make money. I think that's absolutely spot on. Every single one of these platforms, and that's Twitter and that's Facebook, you can tell they are now public companies because they are having to make money. I mean, that's what it is. And speaking of that, not only do I want to say hi to Zara, great to see you, Zara. Thanks for joining us as always. What I want to make, actually, hey, Mema, you're back. Hey, Mema, greetings from Brooklyn. Hello.
Can I jump in for a bit?
Yeah, please do.
Most of the people on Google Plus, they're criticizing Facebook, but what I faced when I actually started doing social media is that you cannot ignore it. It's that you have to be there, as a marketer, because there is an audience. And when I came to SEMrush, there was like 20,000 followers, fans on Facebook. So I actually had to do something with it. And also saying in Google Analytics that actually there is traffic, and we have this e-commerce tracking, and also I see that our customers actually are interacting with us. We cannot ignore it. And my favorite is Twitter, and my second favorite is Google Plus. And actually on Twitter, we interact with over 1,000 of our followers. Manually every week. We do less with Google Plus, but we are basically just posting news on Facebook. We do not engage with the audience that much because there is not enough ways to do that. But basically, we cannot ignore it, and I would say that just have to have this right social media marketing work.
I think it's interesting. I couldn't agree more. The fact is that nowadays our audiences are everywhere, and it's finding a versatile platform that allows you to stream. I mean, funny enough, that's part of the reason why A, I like live video, and B, I like using Hangouts because they allow me to stream through websites, through Facebook, through Google Plus, through YouTube, and all this sort of stuff. I like that. But I'm just gonna. I mean, Olga, you've mentioned that you like Twitter. Kevin, I know you like Twitter. Andrew, I'm not so sure whether you're a huge, yes or no, big fan of Twitter or not.
Meerkat is actually making me like Twitter. I've started to engage. I'm starting to kind of get Twitter. I'm still very anti the Twitter pros who have, like I said, 80,000 people that they're following. I think that's a bad example. I think it's not a good practice for any network. However, I'm trying to take the bits and pieces from them and it's fun. I like it so far. The video responses are fun on Twitter, very quick and easy to talk back and forth.
Okay, so then, but let me just put this into the mix. And again, I mean, there's some great comments coming in, but There's another bit of news which I put live in the Showcase app for anybody looking to watch it at the moment. And I want to know if this will change your mind, Olga and Kevin particularly, which is this week Twitter have come under fire a little bit by selling of data, and particularly selling of tweets for money. So last year, as I understand it, $70 million was raised through selling of tweets. And what they're looking at doing, and I mean, that's nothing. I mean, I think they made a profit of 1.3 billion, right? It's nothing. But the point is, that's not the point. It's selling your tweets for the good of marketing. They want to do that more. They want to sell more tweets for more money. So, Olga, Kevin, does that? I mean, are you concerned about that? Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do you reckon?
I think to me it's an inevitable thing. Twitter's a public platform. When you post there, you know your data is going to be out there in the public ether, and it's I don't know. I don't think a lot one way or the other about it being a negative thing. Obviously, I work in marketing, so we thrive off of data from social networks, and I think a lot of businesses do.
So you're not so bad about it, Olga?
Well, I'm not also in any way negative about this. So, well, if it helps marketers to find their target audiences better, or their user behavior or anything, so if they're gathering data about their customers more, and if it helps them to produce better products or offer better services, then it's a nice thing. Well, I don't. And also, it's a platform, and yeah. Well, it has to survive. Well, compared to Facebook, it's tiny, and well, it has to find its ways to monetize.
I couldn't agree more. I tell you what, if I had 1.3 billion in the bank, I'd be thinking about whether I could survive. I think I would be there. But look, let's move on because we've only got about sort of 12 minutes left, and I don't want to sort of go on. But I've got to bring this in because again, Michael, you make me laugh, mate. Oh my God, did someone mention Edge spam? Oh man.
Yes, I mentioned Edge rank.
Oh man. And Dave, look, that's great. Bump off the other two hangouts are there. That's fine. They can be Replay City. We'll be the main one. That's good. I like that. Okay, and Missy J, I think you've got a really good valid point there. Mentioning from what we talked about with Olga here. Could Facebook be worried about the competition? Hence the reason why they're now advertising on TV and making people stay on their site. Absolutely. I saw the Facebook advert for the first time, Missy J, last week. So. Yeah, do you know what? They are worried. They're worried. They've lost their millennial audience, and then they're continually losing them. So they've got to make money. They've got to think about their shareholders now. So yeah, absolutely. But let's go on to because I've got a really good question here, and you can gather, Olga and Elizabeth, the fact that Michael has got a certain way with words. So I'm just gonna. You may not have seen it in that he said, "I've recovered now," and I have to say it's nice to see Tech Totty on SEMrush. I don't know if you realise what that means, but totty is an English word for hottie, really. So look, let's talk about SEMrush. Now, for those of you guys who watch this show regularly, I actually tweeted out, I didn't tweet out, I messaged you with a special promo code for these guys. Let's talk about SEMrush, because I need to understand it more. For people who want to understand their SEO and understand it better and look at sort of comparisons with competitors and everything, I've used it for a second, SEMrush. I need to know a little bit more about how to use it. So tell us, what is SEMrush and why should we be using it?
Okay. So I would like to introduce my lovely colleague here. It's Elizabeth. She's the tech support pro and the head of our customer education program. So she will be helping me with the presentation. So
yes.
Yeah,
Hello guys, my name is Elizabeth and I'm an SEMrush education program manager. So while Olga is sharing the screen, is trying to share it, I'm going to explain you a little bit about SEMrush, in a concept. So what SEMrush is simply competitive intelligence. So we provide the...
That's the point, Elizabeth. Can you move a little bit closer to the microphone because it's not picking you up for some reason. Push Olga out the way and take the screen.
Okay, we'll do
just a second.
One sec. So yeah, I guess we're sharing our screen now. So okay, SEMrush. It's a competitive intelligence tool which will help you a lot to spy on your competitors. And now we're going to talk about a couple of problems which you can solve with the help of this.
Well, the main features basically is what we like to call it a Swiss Army knife tool for search marketers.
Yeah.
So because we collected well all the essentials, so you can do the competitive research with it. Keyword research for well, it works for both organic and paid well paid sections. Then you can just monitor market trends, which works more for business owners and for not well the search savvy marketers. Then you can track your progress, and you can also do the website audit, which is our feature for your own site. Mostly we focus on competitive results. So we now we'll be asking, like in terms of questions. So how has recent Google update affected my competitive organic traffic? So you know there was updates, and you can actually track it.
Yep, exactly. You can easily spot any Google update or a penalty right on SEMrush dashboard. You don't even have to go through the reports. You can simply take a look at the traffic chart right there. I've with arrow on it. Yeah, here it is. Sudden drop in organic traffic, which happened in May of 2014, and it's the same month that Google rolled out an updated Panda. Coincidence? I don't think so. So of course you can take a look at those Google penalties in SEMrush dashboard.
Next thing that well all search marketers start with. So keywords are kind of the core of search marketing, and you can define which keywords you use, and also you can see the unique keywords that your competitor is ranking for, but you're not.
So yeah, if you want to know exactly the keywords for which your competitor ranks and you do not rank, we have this great tool which is called domain versus domain. You can compare here up to 5 domains, again both in organic and in paid search, and find out the best keywords for which again your competitor ranks but you do not rank. And as we can see here, for example, I've compared here Zappos and Nordstrom. There are 150,000 unique keywords for Zappos.com versus Nordstrom, and it is quite impressive. But of course, you can imagine how many branded keywords are there, so you can simply filter them out and get more relevant data.
Okay, then we go for, well, you basically, if you're a global brand and you're represented in many countries, you're ranked differently in each and every one of them. And we have lots of databases.
Yep, exactly. We have 26 regional databases to choose from. We have Europe, America, Asia, basically everything you need to find out your local competitors. And yep, as we did for again Nordstrom in Italy, you can very easily get a list of your local competitors by switching the database right there on the top. And not only you can see them, you can see list them, you can also see the keywords they share with you, so that you can know exactly what you compete with them.
Then it's for content marketers. So basically, you have to come up with catchy headlines. You have to optimize the titles, and you have to make your content more keyword rich. So which is Google will like it more. And we suggest here that you do not aim for the really high volume keywords, but you also do not want to aim at low volume keywords. You have to focus somewhere in the middle.
And yeah, right here we have a keyword difficulty tool, and it will help you find the best keywords for your content or headlines. You just type the keyword in right there and choose the ones with low difficulty percentage, high search volume, and small number of results. And then you can get in top 20 with your search.
Tips for social media marketers. I'm always looking for new hashtag ideas, and also so people search for keywords, and that's hashtags are the same keywords that they search for. So I would love to know the volume, so which keywords are have more volume, and create the hashtags from them.
So you can easily use related keywords paper right there, and it will show you all the keywords from our huge database, which are similar to the one that you type in. So you can easily get ideas for your hashtags, and again, the keywords are sorted by volume to easily get how popular.
And we're getting to the most talked about topic of this month. So how well, you optimize your site, it's mobile friendly, and you you now want to track your progress and compare it to your competitors, and SEMrush allows you to do that.
Yep, I'd like you to get acquainted with one of my favorite SEMrush tools, position tracking tool. So when you set up a tracking campaign, it will track your rankings every single day, by the way. You can choose the type of the device from which will be tracking your positions and position of your competitors, of course. And those are actually all the guys who are ranking top 100 for the tools that you have in your campaign. And you can, of course, choose the type of device from which you're going to track your positions. And yep, you can do a mobile or a smartphone or tablet or desktop.
Okay, and the last tip that we have is actually, well, you're setting the marketing campaign with a special landing page, and you want to track this URL for different locations, for different keywords, or different competitors, and you can also do that.
Yeah, you can easily do that with a position tracking tool again. You can tell SEMrush to track positions of particular URLs, landing pages, and be sure that you.
Okay, that actually was a brief presentation. We're now we stopped sharing the screen. Thank you for the opportunity to share the tips, and all questions are welcome after the hangout.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's just for those of you who are watching. The reason I'm bringing these guys on, I mean, there is no commercial element to this at all. It's just if I find a platform or a website, like for example, Kevin's with Simply Measured. You know, I'm a client of theirs, so that's the reason. I pay for the service, but I like it and I want to share it with you guys. Same with the SEMrush stuff.
And I paid James $1,000 to be on here. No.
For the Meerkat one, yeah, absolutely. Waiver people. Perfectly clear. There's no commercial entity whatsoever to this, but I like what you guys do, and I think it's invaluable for marketers out there. And it shows. I mean, we got Eileen's mentioned this as well. So I started using SEMrush a month ago. Opened my eyes. Michael was mentioning how he used you guys a long time ago, and it looks like you've come a long way. We haven't got an awful lot of time for questions. So Elizabeth, maybe you've got about 20 seconds to answer this one. Michael has put in, crikey, a serious question. There we go. If you like hashtags, then a great tool might be +WriteTag. I use it to discover hashtag pairs and associated tags I can use to get creative tweets. Okay, all right, fair enough. So it's actually not about.
Yeah, I also do use WriteTag. Yeah, and it has great extensions for all the browsers and also Hootsuite. We use it with this, and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, well, look, we haven't got long, so we've got to sort of close this off. I just want to mention this one thing because I know, Dennis, you put this forward a long time ago. You guys may not realize this, but I get very jealous of cushions, right? And where is it? Have I lost it now? I have. Oh man, I unpinned it. It's gone right to the bottom. But I do want to mention it because he's absolutely right and well spotted. Where is it? Where's he gone? There we go.
Are you talking about cushions like a pillow?
Yeah, bloody cushions. Look at that. See, Andrew's a member of your exclusive Google Plus Cushion Club. Look at that. What a beautiful.
Mine is a small cushion, but mine's actually I actually really like the quality of this one, but it was a creator in Crimea. I actually found her on Etsy, and I really wanted to support her. Ukraine. I won't hold the thing against the girls.
Ukraine. How am I going to get one from Ukraine? One day. All right. Well, look.
It's in Ukrainian, so if you want to talk to me in Ukrainian on Meerkat or here, or actually no, you can't talk to me on Meerkat. Here, say hello. Yeah, but sure.
All right, we'll do that. Well, look, we're going to cut off now. Olga, Elizabeth, Michael has put another proper question in there for you about multiple landing page campaigns. I'm sure you'd be more than happy to answer that in the event stream. And I think really, I normally like to keep these shows to an hour for everybody's sake, you guys watching, and also the very valuable insights we have from the guys in the panel. Look, Andrew runs some of the most influential social media marketing groups here on Google+, communities, I should say. I do apologise. You know, thousands of people talking about social media strategy, social media professionals. Well worth joining those guys. Kevin at Simply Measured. You know, you guys run the most awesome data analytics firm that I know of and I use, and always respect what you guys do. So, you know, I want to thank you for your time. And what we didn't get around to doing is talking about a bit of news about Instagram, which I put the link in the showcase app about their new layout design. Kevin's written something there which is well worth having a look at. And obviously the techie totties, as Michael has called you, to Olga and Elizabeth. How cool is that? What a great way to term. SEMrush, I love what you guys do in the SEO world, and well worth recommending you. So a big thank you to all of you. Okay, I think that's it. We're going to say goodbye. No doubt we're going to get filmed again in the non-live version, right? And are you going to keep it going?
Yeah, I'm going to be on Meerkat for a little bit, too.
All right, so we'll carry the offline discussion online, still on Meerkat. So if you want to see us slagging all of you lot off, we will be in Meerkat. Guys, and see you in 2 weeks' time. Britton, who's talking about Millennials' new book, which is coming out, and I can't remember who I've got as a guest, but for millennial marketing, if you want to know a little bit more, there's a great book coming out, so we're going to talk about that. Okay, thanks all. See ya.